Welcome back to the WODprep podcast. I'm your host, CJ DePalma, with no host today. It's my first solo show in a minute. I don't even know how long. It's been a while. Good morning. Good morning. You're right, Aaron. We got snubbed. I can't believe it. That's okay. It's all right. I feel like if we would have been consistent over the last month and a half, we probably wouldn't have got snubbed. Or if this would have came out maybe right after the Masters games or the age group games, we would have been fine. My hair's crazy this morning. Gus, good morning, loser. Hey, buddy. We don't talk anymore. How's fantasy going? Gus is too cool for me now. So I think I've decided that we're going to do the camping thing full time. It's so much fun. We went camping last weekend, and it's just so nice to be out and it's we're not far from home. Um, and, but it's just nice to just sit outside regularly. And we're in a really nice campground with a pool and live music. It's like a whole resort style feel, but it's just, I think we're gonna do it. I think I'm talking my wife into it finally to do this semi full time in the next few years. So excited. Good morning, everybody. Ben, what's up, man? Gus is too cool for everyone. Good morning, T. What's up, Brayden? I feel like I haven't done a show that was just talking with the chat in a while. I was trying to catch up on the tea in the space. It's pretty lackluster in general. I think everyone's kind of pulling it I don't know, pulling it strings that don't really have anything to any value truly. Oh, that's loud. Mayhem's podcast boring. Hiller, I don't know. I feel like he's not talking about much. His Dave thing in water. I was like, eh. Good morning, Lady Heavy Lifts. Julian Ford, the list. I mean, the list was just opinionated. I watched it until just till they got to the top, and then I didn't listen to anything else. Obviously, I would have liked to be on it, but it's fine. I mean, it doesn't really matter. It just would have been nice. But I think media is a very broad term, and it can mean a lot of things. We're not super consistent, and we're getting a little less consistent. Hopefully, once my travel cools down. So August was the age group games, right? We were gone for 10 days, and then we did, I don't know, 20 shows or maybe more in that time frame. So that was pretty fatiguing in general. Then I came back to Ben being gone for work and me sort of assuming the role of onboarding all of our athletes to our WODprep Academy, which is our course, or courses. And so that was 50 or 60 calls over the month, which is a lot of increased time commitments. And I needed to open up my mornings. So I took a lot of calls at 6 and 7 a.m. before Bennett got up, because if not, my day would have been so crammed. So I had to kind of limit shows. And then October, 2 weeks ago, I was at Iron Games. Last week, I was camping with Bennett. This week, I leave for Crash. Next week, I'm going to Affiliate Con with Ben. And so I'm traveling 4 weeks. So I'm gone basically Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every week. Every week of the month, except Halloween night. And then on for camping, we went Wednesday, Thursday. So I don't know. I was gone like 20 days of the month, and so it was just like I had to make a commitment or a sacrifice, and the shows were it. So I could sleep a little bit because all my work is being done in the middle of the night, and so that shit gets fucking exhausting. Um, Iron Games was great, Gus. You really missed it. The competition was amazing. Um, the races were really good. The guys who won, everyone who won was a semifinal athlete. The quality of competition was really, really strong. We watched a girl back squat 360 pounds. It was fucking bonkers. Um, I think the workouts were good. They were hard. It was balanced. After crash, I'm gonna ask JR to come on and maybe evaluate live just to see his thoughts. Um, um, and And so, yeah, I thought it was good. We were able to get our long event not on a run, which is good. That's kind of what we've always sort of fallen back on. And so it was cool to get something on there that wasn't just a long run. Um, and yeah, which I really enjoyed. I thought the lifts went really well. The offsite event was pretty cool. Um, it was just really cold and windy. So other than that, it was good. Julian Nice Mountain Hats. Yeah, I went through a phase and I don't know, I have like 9 or something. Um, went through a phase and then thank God I got out of the phase because they were getting kind of expensive. Um, but I'll probably there's like a couple, they're starting to do some collabs that I like. They did a USC collab, so I'm really hoping they do a Miami Hurricanes collab is my hope. So I can get a Miami Hurricanes melon hat. So, um, lady heavy lifts. Renata, is that you? I think so. Yeah, who needs recovery? A lot of travel. So anyways, we haven't been super consistent, and I'm assuming that's probably why. And not that it really matters. I think their list was their list, and I think media is very broad, right? Like if you look at the actual media touch points, it's Natalie. That's right. Um, if you look at the media touch points, WODprep is like if you're just looking at the podcast, it's very tiny, but you're looking at all the touch points, right? Like it's bigger than everyone but maybe Hiller in CrossFit. So it doesn't really, it's just their own thing. And then I don't know. I just felt like some of them were I felt barbell spin was pretty low. That was kind of interesting. Um, but overall, it was good. It was fun. It was fun. It was interesting. It was entertaining. Um, I couldn't really I felt like I didn't hear I wasn't watching it, I was just listening. I felt like Justin didn't talk at all. It was basically just Jason and Dallin and them telling James. Is that how it worked? Like, did they make the list and then just tell James about the list? It's kinda strange. Um, so I leave for Crash in 2 days. Gucci leaves. Gucci's been in town, so she leaves Wednesday. Um But I did wanna go over the workouts, um, because I like them. Um, yeah, TEF being high, or do we wanna talk about that? I guess we can talk about that first. Do you guys wanna talk about the list? I guess that was part of the podcast, so I guess we'll go over that. What was it called? Boys Interrupted? Media. Alright. Yeah, MCU being that I mean, I subscribed and I've been a subscriber to MCU for years, and I mean years. Alright, here we go. Um, I to be honest, in my opinion, I think Mayhem was the worst take, and the only reason why I guess let's just go in order. I'll get to that in a second. I don't even know who's the blue. Is that Clydesdale? Fluffy Duck. I guess he does a podcast. I forgot. This is funny. Um, um, I don't know what this means, Natalie. Anyways, so I think again, I think we're looking at like what is media. Um, what's up, Lido? As like how are they defining? And that was their own sort of thing. Um, entertainment versus information versus, like whatever it was. And so it was a really interesting take. Like I just didn't understand it, right? It was very much like John's Mountain, where and I think that was sort of what they were going for, like, oh, it's John's Mountain, so we can just do whatever we want, right? But I think having spin down here is kind of a crazy take when like spin pretty much is like the first to know anything of value within the sport and the ecosystem and post it. Spin also has a blog. No one else has a blog, which I think um 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 and so I think there's two there maybe three ish. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Like I feel like it was kind of yeah, I mean it's their thing at the top. That's fine. It doesn't matter. Irrelevant. Um I think spin is too low. I don't even know what's this one. Does anyone know what this one is right here? Um, spin was too low, dense was too low, kill Taylor was too high, morning chalk up. I mean, currently, yes. I mean, if you're looking at all time, I mean, morning chalk up is for sure one of the best because I mean they've been doing it forever. I do like a blog. Oh, Mason startup. That's right. He makes really high quality videos when he does them, like really long form YouTube content. They're really good. I like them. Um, um, yeah, like your Instagram. So yeah, I don't know. I think these are fine. I think Mayhem being up here was very confusing to me because they're not a media company at all. Well, I mean, I guess they're only a media company, primarily a media company if you really look at how it is. But like, no one consume. They only consume the Rich Froning podcast, and I don't know. I just doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Like, it just doesn't make sense. I think Dave being high is kind of is extremely silly. I understood Dallin's reasoning, which I it made sense to me, but it was still too high. Barbell spins too low. Shut up and scribble, I think is fine. I probably would put Dents above Pedro. Kill Taylor, I wouldn't put up there. I'd say get with the programming would be above Kill Taylor, just from like their consistency in staying in their lane for so long. Um, Talkingly Fitness obviously should be on there, but where it is, Morning Chalk Up should be flipped here. I'd probably put Kill Taylor, Morning Chalk Up down here. These two above. I think I think within like Savon should be up top. CrossFit Games Media should probably be at the full top. I mean, just from a um here or Savon. I don't know. It's weird. It's hard to say that Kill Taylor and Shut Up and Scribble and Dents and are like their own things because they're inside of the Savon space. So theoretically, Savon would be at the top if you look at like when you have some other entities within your own channel, you know. That's just my opinion. Chalk up's too high. Coffee pods and Waz is probably where it needs to be. I'd probably pull Castro down, put barbell spin up. I wouldn't have mayhem here. I'd flip them down one. Um, yeah, well, so that's also the other thing, right? Is like it's mayhem isn't news either, and Buttery Bros has never been news. So it just depends on how you're defining media, um, right? And that's the biggest thing, right? Um, so if it's media as in just content creation, then I think it's okay. But if it's media as in like news gathering, then no, it doesn't make any sense for it to even be on the list, right? It's just an entertainment, um, which is fine. I mean, but it's something to talk about, right, Jeff? Like it's not a big deal. Um, uh, so I mean, the only two that take it truly serious, and is like Savon and Hiller. It's their jobs. It's their sole job. Everyone else is just a byproduct of whatever it is. I mean, Jenny, I think Dents is more closer to like it being her job, right? Everyone else is just sort of the byproduct of whatever else they do. Um, I haven't consumed Kipping It or Morning Chalk Up in forever though, right? I was a subscriber till like last year. I paid their $60 a year because of the information I got for so long, and I'm very much a loyalist. Like I love supporting, and then I don't know, their content just got shittier and shittier and just like irrelevant and pointless. Um, uh, Fluffy Duck posts a lot of dick memes and dick videos. He was a games athlete years ago. He's funny. Um, and then he does a podcast, which I've never actually seen his podcast on the YouTube channel. Um, it's funny. Gus made a point up here, I think, assuming. Oh no, it was way up here. Right here. Yep. I feel like a lot of those guys. Yeah, I mean, so WODprep, right? Like we do the podcast, and this is hands down the smallest portion of our entire company, right? Even though it's why a lot of you know who we are in general. We make $0 from this. We get a few hundred views, maybe 1,000 every now and then if it's during an event, maybe a couple thousand. Um, and so it is hands down our smallest portion or revenue driving thing of the company. We might make, I think I might have made $300 so far doing this, maybe. And Apple takes 20% and YouTube takes 40%. So um, it is at least directly, right? I think the games thing did really well, but that's besides the point. Um, but uh, yeah, but if you look at Ben and what we do and our email list and our YouTube channel size and the Instagram page, like we are a media company, right? We have hundreds of thousands of followers, subscribers across all channels, like over 500,000. And so I think we're still defined as a media company. And I do a little bit of news like this, which is still very loose, but then it's just all content, right? None of them do like support content. Maybe Hiller a little bit. Hiller's probably the most broad. Everyone else is just news, right? Except Kill Taylor's just entertainment, right? But none of them are, and maybe Shut Up and Scribble, like are, you know, here is like educational stuff, right? And that's what we do. Like I wouldn't consider us a media company in the sense of like what all of these other entities are. Um, like we're an educational company, right? We're a coaching company and a training company that just so happens to have a big following. And so we utilize that to run a podcast. I think that's it. Um, um, boom. Congrats again, Grants, on your son Oliver. Solid name. Um, yeah. Hiller, and so this is Hiller's training channel. Isn't that what he just posted on yesterday? I guess I didn't realize he started a training channel, which will for sure crush it because he'll just like cross pollinate between both. Hiller Training. And it'll crush it. I mean, it'll just do um that. So Natalie, so what happened to Buttery Bros? So they they do post a lot. I just don't think they post a lot on their own channel. Um and so if you even go to um, so they are I'm pretty sure they're contracted in by a lot of because they're at everything. They're at everything that's not CrossFit currently. It's weird. Huh. And so they are making a lot of content. I just think they're contracted to make content for other channels, right? Like Tier or um or WFP or something like that. Um yeah, and so I think it's just that they take a lot of their content and make short form for themselves. Um in general. So um yeah. If where were they not mentioned, Lido? Um so speaking of content. Ben is speaking at Affiliate Con. If you guys don't know what Affiliate Con is, it's best hour of their day, who is probably um, the premier affiliate coaching group, right? People hire them to help improve their business coaches for affiliates, and they've really turned around hundreds and hundreds of affiliates over the years. So they have a big event in Dallas, and Ben is speaking. I'm going to sneeze here in a second. Um, and so we got um, a booth, and me and Claire are going to podcast. And so basically, we're just going to do what we did at the CrossFit Games, at the age group games, and just kind of podcasts of like there, and hopefully get a bunch of people on of people speaking and the experts in the field and all of these things. And so I think it'll be pretty interesting. Bless you, thank you. Preemptive, bless you. Um, and so I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of fun. Um, a lot of work. I got to figure out how to travel with all my stuff. Might need to buy a like long Pelican case to travel with. But we'll see. Anyways, enough about the media. It was fine. It was entertaining. I appreciate them coming up with content that isn't just them talking about their training lives, which is exceptionally boring, unfortunately. Um, I love talking about training, but it's clear that I don't know. It's weird. It's like they sort of talk about it, but they don't. I don't know. But it was weird that I didn't notice. I really felt like Justin didn't have a lot to say in the situation. It was kind of strange. Oh man. All right, so Crash is this week. I leave Thursday. I'm super excited to be a part of like the next um sort of like stage in competition. Um like for an athlete that I'm coaching. So I just wanted to go over the workouts. So it's P scoring. Um and it is 6 events over 3 days, I think. Which is not a lot of volume. It really isn't a ton of volume. Now, cumulative fatigue is going to be pretty tough. Can you guys see that? Let me zoom in a little. Bam, there we go. So event 1 is open season. Uh, is it weird that I both like and hate? No, I think so. I think it's fine. Let's talk about P-scoring. So for those that don't understand what I assume everyone here does, but we will discuss it a little bit better. So um, mm, tickets are $500 to crash. That's not true. What? That can't be true. Crash Crucible. About the event. Oh, affiliate con. Oh, I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, Jeff. So I mean, affiliate con is it's like a conference. Um, I mean, there's gonna be. I mean, there's like 50 of like the biggest experts in the field for a conference. $500 um, is. Oh, sorry, I was so confused. I was like, what? For a conference like that with that many people there, $500 is nothing. It really isn't. For the amount of information that you're going to be able to get. Sorry to jump around, guys. Jeff threw me for a loop. Let's see. Is P score good for Gucci? Um, yes, because she's not going to have, at least in these workouts, she's not going to have any big weaknesses. Um, but she won't have any home runs. Her only true home run could be event 5. This is a very good workout for her, a very good workout. She's a pretty solid runner. Um, she's an amazing upper body puller, rope climber specifically. She's great at pegboards, etc. Um, so I think she has a chance um, to win this workout. Um, for sure, top 5. Just depends on who's there, who climbs really well. But uh, it's for sure her strongest, but it's really how she's going to manage for a couple others. So, um, I don't even know how this makes sense. Anyways, basically, it's a median plus or minus your score. Whatever the median is, moves up from 50. The median is at 50. If you're worse than the median, then it'll be below 50, etc. So, is it good for her? She competes really well, meaning that she will race very effectively. She makes a lot of good decisions in competition, and she can really find another gear. Basically, another gear to the point that it kind of hinders hinders training sometimes because we can't reach that next level very often in training. Um, so yeah. Anyway, so open season, toes to bar, double unders, and the front squats. Personally, based on watching Gucci go through this, um, she's not one of the strongest athletes. Um, I think this is, I don't want to say it's certainly not a miss, but I don't think it is the um like the strength test that maybe anticipated. I think the qualifier workout was way harder um and way more strength biased because it was squat cleans. But obviously, like there's like a testing component to lead into. Um, but overall it's good workouts, good toe to bar volume. That 2-inch bar does make a little bit of a difference. We've been doing it on a bar that's like not fully secured. So there's been a little bit of a roll. Um, uh, but it's a heart rate workout. 20-minute time cap is capped for everyone to finish, which I think is important for opening workout here to make sure that everyone gets touches at all the barbells. But I don't think the squat fatigue is going to be what it is. I think there's going to be some core fatigue, and I think there's a really, really heavy component of trunk flexion in this competition, especially the first two workouts. So event 1 with 100 or 120 toes to bar, 125 toes to bar. And then we have event 2 with 80 GHG sit-ups under a lot of fatigue. So we were only able to do the traverse work in between boxes. So she had to knee drive, which really crushed the core, secondarily to bring muscle ups and GHG sit-ups. But this one's cool. I love P-bar traverse. It feels really short, right? I know there's probably just like an equipment limitation, but 6 feet is so short. You have to jump down and jump back up 5 times, right? There's going to be maybe even a bigger press component and press fatigue than core fatigue in this workout, just because you're doing that P-bar traverse 40 times. That's a lot. With the GHG sit-ups, we'll see how strict they are on the knee flexion and the tape thing, etc. But it's a good one. Core fatigue under high volume gymnastics, and a lot of press fatigue in that P-bar. That P-bar is going to get long. It's a lot of reps. Do I think Crash is too heavy? Jamie always thinks. Jamie thought the age group games were too heavy too. I don't think it's too heavy. We'll get there. I'm going to start this. As I was saying here, I don't think this is heavy enough based on the qualifier. I don't think 305 and 205 for 3 is. I mean, if this is the part of the strength test, then no, I don't think so. But there is a lot of strength components in it, right? So let's see. Let's kind of go through it. So high volume gymnastics, core fatigue, still some pull fatigue. They'll be very fatigued from the toes to bar. These are on the same day, which definitely plays a role into the core fatigue on the GHG sit-ups. Coming into day 2, there is going to be a lot of core fatigue leading into that, with basically 200 hip flexion bias patterns into this. This is hands down the hardest workout or the most painful workout of the weekend. And it's a hard one, right? Like, you have to want it. You have to really want to dig. And this is really a test of who's probably the most mentally unstable, in my opinion. Maybe not even like the fittest, but this is just pure grunt grind, like disregard for human health and your own health is this workout. So hindsight is on the 6, or on the 0, on the 6, and on the 14. And it's just a threshold beatdown. There's no limiters in place. These box clears are going to be, it is. I mean, this is the most, this one is the one who, and for anyone who doesn't say that the best in our space have like some sort of mental instability or mental addiction to pain or suffering, or have like addictive behavior, personality struggles and points. It's just crazy to think that that's not them. Yeah, the sacrifice and the what you have to put your body through is just beyond. Anyways, row, burpee, overhead squat, bike. Same thing, plus box clears. These for the guys are going to be fucking tough. For the girls, not so much. I mean, not that they're not tough, but this 6 inches to jumping 20%, or what is that, 8, 30 or 6, so like 25% higher is so much. Like, oh, you just have to have a 25% higher jump. That's so much length. that would and again, right, 30 through 24, girls are usually only 4 or 5 inches shorter than the guys, maybe 6 at the most. So, we're looking at less than 10% shorter, but this jump is 25% higher. So, um, I mean, Colton can do it, but if we saw the video, that big run up, it's just gonna take a lot of time. And again, if you can hurt really good, then it's gonna be fine. His bike will be fine, the overhead squats will be good, his burpees will be fast. He'll have the time overall, um, and so it'll be good. It's gonna be interesting. There's gonna be a lot of people that don't finish in each of these rounds. This gets really compounding, but there's just a lot of strategy here. Like, do you send this and try and get done in 4.5 minutes, or do you pace it and get done in 5:20 and then go right back into it? And so, um, it's a it's a tough one for sure. So the scoring, um, so it's all three scored. Um, there. So, anyways, yeah, it's gonna be this is the one where it's like who's willing to hurt the most will win. But I like it as a threshold event. It's not just a cardio event because the machines are in it, so you still need some size and some power. Um, but the amount of burpees and box clears, how light the overhead squat is, and the pill squat, you still need to be able to cycle fast, have a quick cycle rate, etc. So I think there's a good balance between machine and body weight and light barbell components. And then, I mean, 90 burpees is obviously the crux. That takes longer than pretty much everything in each of the rounds. Um, so the best burpier is most likely going to win, just because they're going to feel the best coming off the burpees into the overhead squats each round. So, llama is, um, it's just going to be a we'll see. It's just gonna be I think it's gonna be a we'll see depending on what we found is, like, the length of the strap makes a big difference. They said it's really short, um, uh, and we didn't have kettlebells, so we've been doing, like, farmer handles, which is an absolute nightmare, um, even dumbbells, which is kind of a nightmare as well, but there's some grip fatigue and a grip component in this workout that maybe people aren't seeing. But I love how heavy it is. I think it's cool to move uh, a sled that heavy. Um, you know, is this a benefit to a stronger athlete? Yes, but everyone can pull a sled. You know what I mean? I don't think it's um, it just depends. So when you look at weights on a sled, so going back to Lito's question with Jamie, um, when you look at weights on a sled, you can't know anything until you pull the sled, right? At all. So 400 pounds, I'm pretty sure that's the high rocks weight, right? So sled weight in high rocks. Yeah, so men's pro is 450, right? So and women's pro is 300. So it's the same weight. It's actually a little bit lighter. Um, and so coefficient of friction and surface. And so all that means is that the sled is going to move on a certain surface a little bit different. But to say it's too heavy, but it's the weight that's being used in high rocks. Again, if it's on a carpet or a turf, like if this is metal on like rocky, like uh, a gravel road, then obviously it's way too fucking heavy. But if it's on a perfect carpet surface, then it might not be that bad at all, right? Yes, it's heavy, but I don't think it's too heavy. Um, I think the deadlifts are interesting component. It's definitely our strong. So we're 4 workouts in. We have 2 workouts that are going to be biased to um, maybe a stronger athlete, but I also don't think, like I said, for the first one, this one up here for workout one, what's it called? Open season. I don't think these front squats are too heavy. I think this is a toes to bar and double under workout, and then a squat under fatigue And yes, that benefits the stronger athlete, but it's 100 toes to bar and 500 double unders. So I think it's balanced. I think the bigger athlete needs to have the aerobic capacity of jumping, and uh, hip flexion endurance. That I don't think this is a biased. This is a heavy biased workout. And after watching Gucci do a ton of variations of this, the barbell was the easiest part of the workout for her. And I think it's going to be the easiest part of the workout for everyone as long as they front squat like 225, right? I mean, it's not like 225, 335, which is not, it's not heavy. I don't think this is the design of it. This is strength endurance and so you just need it to be strong enough. And if you are strong enough and you're good here, you're going to do really, really well. And I don't think the strongest athletes win this workout at all. I do think the strongest athletes will win this workout. It's short enough here, but again, it's not too heavy to where there's just like this stopping point and an athlete is just not going to be able to move the sled. If this sled was like 600 and 500 pounds, I think that makes a big difference. But if we're looking at just pure weights of the sled, you have no idea what it is until you pull it. And the surface makes a huge difference. I like the sandbags coming on and off. It probably isn't going to make a difference. I think we could have probably just done like 500 and 400 pounds on it. Maybe there's like a limit of what can actually be loaded on the sled is probably why he did it like that. Um, you know, it'll look cool taking it on and off, but I don't think it's going to make a difference in the workout. So we probably could have got rid of it and got the same results. But from a flow perspective, it certainly adds some appeal to what we're seeing on the floor, which is nice. I love the kettlebell deadlift. I like the kettlebell deadlift in this component for two reasons. One, you can squat a kettlebell deadlift, which I think is kind of a different feel. So it's not really, it is a deadlift because you're pulling it off the ground, but it's more of a trap bar deadlift where you can just stand straight up with it because basically you can stand in between the kettlebells. So we can really turn it into a quad thing if you are able to really get the sled into sort of a posterior chain, or you can turn it into a deadlift if the sled is really fatiguing knee extension, right, from driving the sled, right? And so there's a little bit of gamemanship of how far you're angling in the sled versus like what kind of deadlift you're trying to accomplish here. So, which I think is neat. And I like a kettlebell deadlift really heavy. I think it's fun. So I like this one. This is probably my like what I'm most excited to watch. I'm not excited to coach through this one because this one, just watching your athlete have to go that deep is kind of tough. But I think this one is just like the coolest and most creative workout of the weekend. All right, event 5, purgatory. This will be, like I said, Gucci's hands down best event. If she can keep her runs where we need them to be, I think she has a really good chance to do extremely well here. I think the runs are maybe a little, in my opinion. So the 18-minute time cap means they want everyone to finish for sure. It's only a mile of running. In these pull variations, cut ropes is like a minute and a half. Rope climbs is a minute, and pegboards is maybe 2 minutes, right? Especially if you do it first. They're pretty quick. So it is. It'll be. They want everyone to feel all the fatigue on it. I think, in my opinion, we have the threshold piece here, right? Which is very aerobic testing in nature, right? Repeatability, etc. And then I would say this is also another long workout. This is probably the longest workout of the weekend, I would think, just based on testing. And And so maybe a little low on overall aerobic capacity, right? But again, this is a pulling test, not a running test, right? So maybe this run should have been like 800 or something. I don't know. All of them could have been 800, but then, too much time in between, then it turns into too much of a running test. From a balance perspective, if we're looking at like assuming they're going to run this in 7-ish minutes with transitions and everything, these are going to be about 5 minutes, maybe less, maybe more. And so I think there's a good balance between run and pull. Neither one is overly biased. If you can do both, well, if you can't do pulls, obviously, then your runs are irrelevant. If you're going to get stuck somewhere, but yeah, we're getting through it. I'm getting there, Jeff. So yeah, I think in the event itself, it is balanced gymnastics versus aerobic capacity or just monostructural conditioning. But overall in the weekend, I think it's probably lacking a little bit of aerobic capacity test. But aerobic capacity is kind of boring. It's kind of a shorter weekend. It doesn't always have to be perfectly balanced in the sense of like, are we testing every component of the fittest over 6 tests? I think that's kind of hard. But anyways, all right, let's go press dense. Finisher flips. I think the pig is the easiest version of a flip component. This is as heavy as the games, which I think is good. I like the parallettes. I like the number. I like how it looks 642. It looks pretty. A gymnastics strength test, and another strength bias bit. This while the pig is heavy, it is a parallel handstand push-up test. It is not a pig test in general. If you're not good at parallettes, then the pig doesn't really matter. You're not going to push through them either way. If you're amazing at parallettes and maybe you suck at the pig, you're still probably going to do very well in the test. So what JR did was he was able to do a lot of heavy stuff that sort of was deprioritized with the pairing of it, i.e., double unders and toes to bar. If you're really strong but you're terrible there, it's irrelevant. It doesn't support you. Um, Same thing here. If you're great at the pig and you're big and strong, but you suck at handstand push-ups, then it doesn't help either. You have to be good at both for strength to be able to shine. So I don't think it was too heavy. But again, same thing, right? You don't know how much how big the pig is or how much it feels until you flip it, right? Like we were flipping rolled mats that weighed probably 600 pounds. Like she couldn't do it at first, and then she was doing it in a short time. And 3-inch deficits are hard to really gauge depending on the ab mat or like if you're sinking down or any of that kind of stuff too, if it's a skull mat. So all of these things are interesting. So the question is, do I think the test is overall well-rounded programming? It's very exciting. It's going to be fun for the athletes. They're all very easy to watch just based on the flow of them. You'll know who's in the lead, which I think is really, really good. I think they're all relatively safe, which is always important in general. Do I think it's balanced? I think for the most part it is. I do think it is probably lacking maybe a little bit of top end aerobic capacity. I think the runs are probably just a little bit short. I think a good amount of running in competition is good, but with the interval workout, I think that's very much combated. That's a long workout as well. Actually, as I'm coming back through, that's for sure the longest workout. I guess if you look at it here through 24 minutes. So I don't know. It's so hard to look at a threshold workout and assume that's testing a lot of aerobic capacity, especially when there's 2 machines in it of itself. But I mean, I would say it is. I still like to see a little more running in high level competition overall. But other than that, It seems balanced. It's very entertaining, which I think is really, really important, especially for a competition like this. JR's like spin and like twist on how he views a lot of training. Um, and yeah, so well-rounded. Yeah, I think so. I'm also not this like crazy like competition type snob. I look at training design way more analytical and um, snobby than I do competition. Um, let's just go from a movement pattern. So we have write some stuff down. So um, they are using P score. So we have long, um, gym endurance, core, um, monostructural double. I like the double unders, monostructural, long monostructural, and then front squat. So knee flexion, heavy, knee heavy. Then we have another core fatigue. So I'd say gymnastics, moderate pulling, mod pulling, like press endurance. So maybe press heavy with the last workout because this is very much going to bias the same person. Another core fatigue. I wonder if you put these two, 1 and 2, for a reason. I would guess. Then we have 100 burpees and overhead squats, so maybe a little bit more press fatigue and press endurance. So we're 3 for 3. Um, 2 core flexion. I think this is still going to be some core flexion here. Finally, a machine. So this is like machine power, not really endurance. Maybe power endurance, repeatability. So you guys are just listening to me ramble. There's 20 of you still here. So, llama is just pure strength, knee extension, posterior chain, power, shorts. So this is shorts. I would consider this one shorts. This is long, medium, medium. Naming workouts is medium, short. This is almost this is like pure weightlifting. If you look at it from like a um, modality perspective, right? And so there's definitely power endurance. Um, uh, if there's one thing that JR is better than programming at, it's naming workouts. He names workouts really, really well. Pulgatory, a great name. It's a mixed gymnastics pulling. So pull, aerobic. This is probably going to be medium. And then press. So gymnastics and strength. So gym, weightlifting, shorts. So we have 2 long. Depends. I mean, it's really 1 long, 2 short, 3 medium. So it's balanced there. If you're looking at the L1, we've got pulling fatigue in 1. We've got pressing fatigue in possibly 4. So maybe a little press heavy versus pull heavy, even though this is an entire pull workout. Right? And then the muscle ups are still a pull, but maybe not as much. So we've got I guess not. I guess there's 3. So I don't know. It's probably balanced. So press endurance is in workout 2 and 3, and workout 6. So yeah, so 3 pull fatigue, core fatigue in the first 2 to potentially 3 workouts. Um, um, did they already do their assessment? So my problem, and I love those guys, right? And I don't know any of them from like a fly on the wall, right? Or I don't know. Like I don't know any of them at all, right? I had Chase on, which is great. Me and John are friends, and me and JR talk a little bit. And so, but I feel like everyone in the space, in the locker room or whatever, it's hard because they're really biased, right? Like going back to the media thing, like Jenny posts a lot of stuff. She covers a lot of stuff, but she mainly covers stuff that it's in the Savant space, right? Within those shows and those things. And so, it's hard to, um, I think it's hard to look at theirs and not assume that there's a bias. Um, so like Chase and Bill's gonna announce it. They're friends, you know. Um, and so I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I'd love to get on with them and like have that discussion and maybe talk about it from an unbiased perspective. But um, who knows? So, anyways, I think it's good. It's maybe a little like a little aerobic. Um, I don't know what's relevant to that. Um, uh, maybe press heavy overall, but you're always going to have a little bit of leaning. I think from a lower body perspective, it's pretty solid. Like I said, I just would maybe have liked to seen a little bit longer running. But again, then if you look at the threshold piece, I think that's really the interval thing. I think that it kind of overlaps it. I just like running. I think running is a great test. I think when you don't test enough running, I think that the success just starts to get biased to uh, an athlete that's a little shorter in or just more powerful overall. When you don't have like swim, bike, run. But again, this isn't the CrossFit Games. So, anyways, all right, guys, I got to dip. Busy dad day, busy day. Trying to squeeze full work weeks into 2.5 days is not fun. So, thanks for being here. Thanks for sticking around for my TED Talk on Crash. We'll be up there. Me and Claire will for sure do a show on Friday morning. Maybe I can convince JR to let me set up inside of Crash and run the show somewhere in the corner. But we'll see. Maybe I can get Gucci on and chat with her too. So, all right, guys, have a good day. We'll see y'all next time. Adios.